Well, hello, I'm Dr. Julia Royston at BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Bosses Consulting Group, where we help you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. Welcome to National Authors Day. Woo, 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 woo.
Hey.
National Authors Day is every single solitary day of the year, 365 days of the year. I've been a reader all my life, and I've been a lover of books. And of course, nearly in February, it'll be nearly 16 years. I've been publishing other people and myself too. So, books is me every day, all day, every day, right? So, I am super excited to be on with my good friend, Miss Denola Burton, who is joined by some of her authors, and then some of the authors of BK Royston Publishing, and then Miss LaShonda Hoffman. Hopefully, Dr. O'Keefe will be able to join in later. Y'all pray for Nashville. TSU's got I think, like a power situation going on in Nashville. So y'all pray for them so he'll be able to jump on a little bit later. But if not, my good friend, Miss LaShonda Hoffman, is on as well. So I want you each to just take 10 seconds. Tell me who you are, where you're from, where people can find you on social media, as well as where we can purchase your books. I hope to have you on another time and we can really talk books. But today is Author Day, so we're going to be really focusing on the writing process and exactly how that works. Now, you can find all of my books, all of my online stores at Julia, Julia, Royston.com. And yes, there is two A's in the middle, and that is the right. People say, is it supposed to be two A's? Yes, ma'am, it is. I'm Julia and K Royston .com, and you can find all my information there. And be sure and share. So let's start with Ms. Denola, and then we'll just make our way around introductions, and then we'll get into conversation. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. Hello, my name is Denola Burton, and I am an independent publisher here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have over 60 authors that I have assisted with their publishing, and very excited to be able to recognize authors on National Author Day. So, my website is a part of my business. It's called Enhanced DNA Publishing com is the website. You can get any of my books as well as any of my authors' books there. Because if you click on their books on my website, it'll go to their website. So that's kind of exciting. Um, I am just excited to be here because I believe that we should grow our authors and ensure that they are getting the recognition of themselves and their work. And I like to say we publish authors, not books. So I'm glad to highlight some of our authors today. And thank you, Miss Julia, for allowing this partnership between our publishing companies. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Miss Janine, take go
Uh,
next.
all right. My name is Janine Hedges Beth. I am a Christian children's book as well as Christian adult fiction author. My publisher is Mrs. Denola Burton from Enhanced DNA Publishing. I've been reading all of my life, it seemed like. I came out of the womb that way. And my first, I didn't always want to be a writer, though. I just loved to write. I didn't realize I had a gift. I didn't realize that was the direction that God wanted me to go in, why He gave me this talent to write. My children's books are is a series. The first is a six-book series. I've got two of them out. It's called The New Adventures of Frankie and Abby. It's about two fourth grade best friends, different races, but having the same love for Jesus. The adult Christian fiction is Iris's Meadow. It is about a fictional couple that runs a marriage retreat for Christian couples. Three couples um, uh, are experiencing hardship and issues with their marriage, and they go to the Word of God through that retreat to see what God has to say about how marriages are to run with His covenant that He established.
Mm.
And you can buy my books on my website. My web address is my name, JaneenSHedgesbeth.com. So that would be JANNEANS as in Sam, HEDGESPETH.com.
All righty. Dr. Tracy Lynch.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for having us. I really, really appreciate it. And a shout out to Denola. I am Tracy Lynch, and I am published on Enhanced DNA Publishing. The title of my latest book is Donum, Creating a Sustainable Gifting Experience. And donum is Latin for the word gift, because my work is a gift to myself, to my community, and to the world. Everything that I teach, coach, and write about, for the most part, has a direct tie to sustainability in some way, shape, or form. This book is based on a premise of what is happening when we misgift and the calamity it causes to the planet when we do not put the thought into it. We say it's a gift, it's a thought that counts, and it truly, truly is. And I'm explaining why it's the thought that counts. 88% of consumers believe that when you return a gift, that it is put back on the shelf to be resold, and this is not the case. It is actually, for the most part, destroyed and put into a landfill. It taxes the planet in untold ways, but I can tell you all about it in the book. You can find my book on Enhanced DNA Publishing's website. You can learn more about me and what I stand for at tracylynch.com. Thanks again for having me.
Wonderful. Miss Peggy Dixon.
Well, welcome, 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 and thank you for having us on today. I am Peggy Dixon. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, by the way of Lexington, Kentucky, and almost there as much as I'm here, they say. Uh, I love writing. I have two books, Meatloaf and Marriage, and what do they have in common? And then I have a second book, and it's called You Are the Legacy of Generational Tree. Have I always loved writing? That's what my friends and teachers have always said, that I've always loved writing. Did I know I was going to write a book? I didn't know I was going to write books. People were saying, "You're going to write a book. Why don't you write a book? You need to write a book." So eventually I did get that book down. And of course, Julia and BK Ralston, publisher, it was the one that helped me to get the second book out. Uh, when it comes to writing, I just write, and I try to enjoy what I hope that others are enjoying what I write. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me at solo.to/Peggy B. Dixon. You can find me at PeggyBruceDixon@gmail.com. And if you can't find me, somebody on Facebook will be able to tell you exactly where I am. So I look forward to the rest of our conversation. I just like to love life and have fun.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Miss LaShonda Hoffman.
Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is LaShonda Hoffman, and I am the author of two book series. One is a nonfiction books about building your readership. The second series is my first romances that I'm doing, Love in Space, and I'm doing it on the Kindavella platform. I'll talk a little bit about that. I am from St. Louis, Missouri. The show me stayed. Been here all my life. Did a little stint in the Navy for 6 years, but came right on back. I am the proud grandmother of two beautiful boys. I love them to death. And I have been reading, as Miss Janine said, since the womb. From the womb came out. Probably came out with a book. I love books. I've always loved books, and I am passionate about letting other readers know about books. And so that's what I did before I became a author, was promoted books. I'm a book promoter, and I've been doing that 20 plus years. And I'm just glad to be here today. So thank you. Oh, you can find me on LaShondaHoffman.com.
Thank you. LaShondaHoffman.com. So please pardon me and forgive me. Is that Aisha or Asia?
Aisha.
All right. I'm glad. Yeah, I got it right the first time. Go ahead and introduce yourself, love.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Aisha Cargile. I am an author with Enhanced DNA Publishing with Denola. And I have two books out currently. One is an anthology. I'm a part of Mentoring Moments, which is a anthology with 14 women that Ms. Nola gathered together who wanted to share how we overcame roadblocks in on our way to success. So it provides each is a different little story, that a short story experience that we had that is intended to give some inspiration and motivation to others. And my story is about being a multi-potentialite. When I wrote it, I actually did not know that I had ADHD. So they are actually very much entwined. So I have a story planned to kind of bring those two together. But that is about being a multi-potentialite and how you can have many interests and many skills and abilities and really want to explore them all. And there's a way to do that without driving yourself insane. So I that's just my way of providing a little bit of my story and inspiration to others. Our most recent book is my partner, my business partner, and I. We have a small marketing agency that focuses on small businesses and nonprofits called McCord and Cargyle Marketing Resources, and we have a book out called A Marketing Fairy Tale. And what it does is it is a fairy tale. Every chapter is a little bit of a story. It's really interesting, a little quirky, a little cool, kind of how we are. But at the end of each chapter has a lesson about marketing, and we use the marketing acronym, which is money, alignment, reach, how you're going to reach your audience, knowledge, events, timing, interest, needs, and grasp. So it takes you through all of them to create your marketing plan in the least intimidating way possible. So we wanted to make marketing fun for others so they didn't struggle with it like we've seen so many small businesses do. Where I'm from, I'm based in Indiana. I am a city girl, but I live now in somewhat rural Indiana because I love my husband that much. Yeah, so I'm surrounded by cows. We're about 30 minutes from the city, and I am learning to love riding a zero-turn lawnmower. I think that's how he sold me. It's like having your own roller coaster. So, I'm originally from I'm originally from Queens, New York, so I am very much a city girl.
Oh Lord, from Queens. Oh my Lord.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my. Oh
So,
goodness.
first 20 plus years of my life there, but Indiana is a wonderful place to live. If anyone who has not visited should, it's beautiful. You can find my books on enhancedDNA publishing.com. You can also find them on Amazon. You can look for my name, Aisha Cargyle, and they will pop up. Online, you can find my business at mccordandcargyle.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, um, Instagram are the main places that I would look for us online. And you can also find me by my name on those same places. And ladies, I have to say, like most of you have said, I'm a longtime reader. My mother read to me in the womb. I've been reading since a young age, and yeah, we make some of the best authors.
I love it, honey. Happy National Authors Day to all of you. I am super excited. All right, so let's get down into the nitty gritty. All right, so the very first question, and be sure and find all of these authors on social media, and hopefully you'll be able to reach out, support, and all that good stuff. At the time of this airing, and we're recording, it's the holiday season. So purchase books, think about books, share books, buy more than one. Hello, buy the whole set. And let's bless an author, but also bless somebody else. So I guess my biggest question, what is like the let's go with the bad first. Let's go with not really bad, but what was the biggest lesson that you learned from being an author? Like, what is the biggest thing that you didn't know when you first started? And I'll start. I think the biggest lesson I had is not realizing that I really needed to be writing for an audience. Yeah, I need to be thinking about who I was writing to. But one of the things that was different for me is I don't do much of it now, but I've sang since I was 8 years old. So when I released my first book, I already was singing at 75 events a year, singing. So I had that audience. So most of the people who knew me as a singer, and if you've known me more than 20, 25 years, you've known me as a singer first, even before an author. I'm the book lady later, but I'm a singer first. So even the people that were on my email list and that followed me with new music stayed. So therefore, but I really wasn't writing for them. I was writing music for them, but I really wasn't writing books. So really, I guess my biggest lesson was making sure that you write for a particular audience. Have an audience in mind. Even if other people enjoy it, your audience, finding that and having it. Anybody else have the same lesson or something different?
I have a lesson I'll share. I found that I did not enjoy writing. I felt like I had a message, but I didn't enjoy writing. And so, what I learned from that was that I needed to have processes in place. I needed a writing plan. I needed to have goals, and I needed to write down those goals and provide intentional time to actually write. And to this day, I still don't enjoy writing, but what I found is that I enjoyed putting the book together after it was written, which is how I got into the publishing piece. So even though I didn't enjoy writing, I still write because I do feel like the messages that I have to share are important to those who want to receive it.
Great. Anybody else?
I found that. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go, okay. Well, all right. This is Janine. My biggest, I had two actually, but I think the biggest one was promoting. Um, I really had to be determined to rely on Christ to get me over my fear of coming out of my shelter and my little world of writing, because I didn't have that issue like Mr. Nola. I love to write. And I wrote the first 4 books of my children's series years ago. So writing books was not the issue. It was getting out of myself and talking to people and promoting.
Yeah.
That is really key for me. Once I started opening up with Miss Denola, and once she saw that I was really trying and I really wanted to do this, she hasn't stopped being in my corner. That's the other piece. Finding a publisher was another big hurdle that I could trust. Through the years, I'd heard about upstarting writers getting railroaded, their work stolen from big publishing houses, and that furthered my fear of staying in a cocoon with my book. So I think that would be key for new writers, is to find a publisher that you could trust. Read everything, your contract. Make sure that you are in control of your works after published during the editing process. Read everything. Make sure that you are the one who is in control. You have the last say so before it gets printed. Make sure that's in writing. So those are the big takeaways and the big issues that I had.
And now we're going to come back to book promotion because I told you the queen of promotion is on between now. I know Aisha has a marketing company too. So between LaShonda and Aisha, they can get us to book promotion. And I know that's very difficult for authors. But one more, anybody else really want to talk about a lesson for writing?
I want to say a lesson that I went through was writing my pieces and then sharing them with other people so that they could give you feedback, or so you could just see where you were and know what you're doing, and then to have some of the people that you really trusted you to say that's not a book. I mean, that might have not have happened to others, but I've had that said to me of you are the legacy of generational tree. They told me, oh, that'll make a great poem. Oh, that'll make a great short story. But you've got to know within yourself when you're writing as an author, this is the piece, this is the work that I really know is to be a book. And you just have to hang in there until you can find that person or persons that can help bring that part of it to life. So that was one of my biggest hurdle. And even though these were reliable people, they had professions of being writers themselves. They were just, friends that I knew that, hey, read my piece, tell me what you think about it. I'm trying to write a book. And they would come back, that's not a book, that's a poem, that's a short story. I see where you're trying to go with it, but that's not going to make it. But having that, knowing that, yes, this is a book. And the other part was just being consistent on my part to just write and keeping a notepad by my bed or keeping a notepad in the kitchen and something in the car. Because when the thoughts come, and sometimes when those
ma'am.
thoughts come, they don't stay up in there, and you lose them. And if you don't
Yes,
write them
ma'am.
down or record them
It's
somewhere,
gone, baby. It's gone.
they gone. And so I would say, as a writer, uh, just make sure you have multiple places that you have pen and paper, so that when you, like I said, when those thoughts come, get them down while they're there. So that's all I want to say on that part.
Anybody else?
I wanted to talk about Janine talked about a little bit was fear, and fear stopped me for a long time with my writing. And I'm a book promoter. I love promoting other people's books, but I was scared to put my books out there. And I don't know when fear slipped in, because I always wanted to publish my books, but for somehow it slid in on me, and I was like, nope, that's not. And I think it was from doing interviews with authors and hearing all the horror stories. I was like, what's the point? That's, in the back of my head, I think that's what was going on. And I published my first book in 2015. It was about book promotion, what I knew, but the lesson that I learned from that was that I published one book. And it's so hard to promote one book. It is so hard to sell one book, because what I didn't realize, and it took me 7 years later to learn, was that people are always looking for the next book. And if you got one book, you make it hard for yourself, because you're going to go find new readers. And when you're a writer, you're building up. I teach building those readership, building those relationships. You got one book, they already got the book. They moving on to the author that's got some more books. And so that was one of the hardest lessons I learned, because I always said, I don't have any more book promotion books inside of me. And I found out that was wrong. But I teach my clients now that if you're going to do a book, do a series, do 3. Don't do just one, because you make it so hard for yourself on the promotion side, because you build this readership and you only got one book, and then your newsletter is stuck because you only talk about that one book, and they're like, I already got that. So you want to make sure that as an author that you continually put new content out there. So that's my lesson I learned.
Right. Yeah. Or more, or write in multiple genres. Aisha,
that
Tracy. Yeah.
Yes. I'm agreeing with everything you guys are saying. The thing that I struggled with is perfectionism. It's my partner and I wrote our second book 3 months ago now, in its entirety. And it has taken us 3 months, and we're still not done, of me going back over and say, we should add this. And I think it'll be a little bit more interesting and a little more valuable if we add this. Now, the book was done 3 months ago, but now it's like in each chapter, I'm like, let's add a little bit more. So for me, and I think I did the same thing with our first book. For me, it is knowing when it's great, even if it's not every single thing. Because the next book can have the things that you didn't put in this book. And to Miss LaShonda's point, that is your next book. That's book 2, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Series. And I think a lot of authors out there struggle with it. It's not good enough, or it's not enough. Then share it, like Miss Becky said. Share it with somebody else. And let them tell you, hey, yeah, this is great. It doesn't need any more, or maybe it needs a little something else.
Yeah. Tracy, you want to add before I move on?
Sure, just real quick. I agree with what everybody said, especially fear being such a low vibration. I have a poster in my living room. I've had it for 20 some years, and it says, "Fear can hold you captive, hope can set you free." I
Come
raised
on.
my kids teaching them that
Oh, I love that.
fear will paralyze you. And once you
Yes,
find
it
yourself
will.
paralyzed, um, there's a law that says if you hold a thought for 17 seconds, another similar thought will join that thought. If you hold
Yes.
those two thoughts for 17 seconds, another thought will join it. And you can
Mhm.
spiral down or you can spiral up. So once you realize that you are stuck, once you realize that you have that fear, you have to dismiss it and talk to that fear to get rid of it
Mhm. Come
because it
on,
will
we
hold
about to
you
have
captive.
church up in here. Come on.
So it will hold you captive. I've been a victim to that, and I'm not a victim to it anymore. I agree with Aisha. I coined a phrase with my staff. We are progressive. We're not seeking perfection. So if it's got a typo, if it's got a thought that wasn't expressed in its entirety, whoop-de-doo-dah. Come on, move on. I'm not held captive by perfection anymore. Also, not knowing who my audience is not. My Facebook friends are not my audience. They're just not. My audience is a very specific audience, and they are designed to hear my message no matter how it's been preached and who it's been preached by, because they are tuned to my voice. I'm here for this generation. And so when you get into that spirit of feeling like, oh, who wants to hear me talk about this? Who wants to hear me? This has been beaten like a dead horse. No, 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 sweetie. There's a tribe for you that can hear your message, just like a radio. When you go tune that radio to the station you want to listen to, that's why singers come out, they sound like the singer that came out before. The actor comes out, they look like the actor that came out before. You're the next generation of that message. And then in your message and walking in that message, you're going to find a lot more messages because it's going to become so individualized to you. No one can talk sustainability better than me. Just no
Yeah.
one can do it. You can't. So those would be my lessons. And then the last lesson I'll just say really quick is I grew up in the church, and church is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But if you're sitting writing about something and you are filtering it through all the people that you know and what they might think about it and how they might judge you, you have already lost.
Yeah.
This is your story. This is your message. And if they don't like it, which they're not your audience anyway, don't worry about it. They're not going to pick the book up. I guarantee you. I buy everybody's books. I'm gonna buy your book. I'm gonna buy your book. I'm gonna buy your book. I got everybody. If I know you and you wrote a book, I have your book.
Yeah.
But when I turned around to sell books, it wasn't that way. And I realized very quickly, make no assumptions. Then you won't be disappointed, but you're just not my audience, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Knowing who your audience is not is just as critical. And some of that, not your audience, can be your cheerleaders. Now, I've had that happen. There are people who recommend people, pass out my business cards, and they've never bought not one book from me. Oh, they gave that to me 10 years ago. I was like, really? They act like they don't even know who I am, but they're promoting me anyway for other people. So you're absolutely right. I often say that there is somebody waiting on your story.
That's
For
true.
authors who are, kind of doing that, keep going by. I said, well, okay, you holding up the audience waiting on you. And of course, and then the other thing is we got to realize that the attention span of people is really short. So really getting to the point and hooking them in and making sure they get the message is really key. If they want more, they're gonna come back for you. For LaShonda talking about book 2, book 3, book 4, they're gonna want more from you, and they're gonna tell you. They're gonna ask you. They're gonna request it. Now, this is one of
Julia,
the.
Julia, before you go on, this on the flip side, is it? I want to make sure, Anicia, is how do you say your name, sweetie? The
Aisha.
Aisha. Okay, my screen is so small, I can't see name. But on the flip side of what you were saying, as well, is when you have to take something out of your writing, you have to know how to fight for what you want in your writings, and you have to also be willing to relinquish some of the things that are shown to you that need to be taken away. And that was a struggle as an author for me. Julia, for example, I will use Julia, she's my publisher, and she would say, this is not going to work. And I would say, well, I don't see why not. And that's what I wanted to say. And she says, because I've been doing this, now she can say, but I've been doing this longer than you've been thinking about it. And so she says, I'm telling you, that's not going to work. Now, what will work is if you think about doing it this way, or you change this, then we can maybe make that work. And so you have to be willing, even as a writer, or author, to be willing to say, everything that I'm thinking and reading is not everything my audience needs to see.
Yeah.
If that makes
Well,
sense.
a lot of that is the market. That's the market build. That's one of the beauties. Now, everybody's got horror stories, and I have my own, but that is one of the beauties of finding a publisher for you. Everybody is not, I tell people all the time, there's 9 billion people on planet. I'm not getting ready to publish 9 billion books. I'm well out at 400, but 9 billion, no. But my point is finding the person who believes in what you're doing is really key. But the other thing is to be able to take what you have and make it marketable, and make it so that the broader audience and the market is ready to read it.
Yeah.
And even though I don't write that, or I don't write from that angle, I might write in that genre, but I don't write that. I still want it to be so that we can appeal to the largest audience we can, so that we can make sure that it can sell to the broader audience. There are some things that are niche, and sustainability for Tracy Lynch. Let me tell you that's where I'm gonna go. If I need something on sustainability, that's a niche, and that's where I'm gonna be buying that book. But then there are other books, the inspirational, etc., that are much larger and can be broadened rather than make the niche too small. But every book, like a person, you have to evaluate each one like a person. Now I can do that with Miss Peggy's book, but somebody else's, they wouldn't budge.
But excuse me, but Julia, what an audience, what I'm speaking of is when you are so determined that what you've written, because every word you wrote is a perfect word.
Of course,
you are not going to take anything out, because that's what. And so I'm saying, as an author, that was a hard part to realize as author, because I'm thinking I'm the greatest writer on earth.
Of course.
And aren't I? And then, but I had to.
You are, Dub. You are.
But I'm saying to our audience that we have to also realize that even though we are the greatest writers, we also, some of the things that we are writing don't need to be there. And that was the hard part as the author, is reading through there and realizing, you mean I got to take that out for real?
Yeah, I know, love. Yes, ma'am.
You know what? I have something called I don't care-itis now. I caught it about 2 years ago. Because I was working with the editor who was editing me down on another book that I'm writing called Lynchpin Life, and it teaches you how to live to be 500 years older or longer. And she kept whittling me down, and some of it was good, some of it, but I decided I don't care anymore. My goal is not to sell books. My goal is to publish what I'm supposed to publish and accomplish what I was sent to the planet to do.
Right.
If the book becomes a reference, they have my book sitting in IUPUI library and the libraries around the college libraries. I gave it to them for free. Why did I do that? Because the message needs to get out, and the message is more important than me, and the message is more important than my pocket. I can make money some other kind of way, but eventually the tipping point will happen. Eventually I'll have enough of my information out there that the tipping point will happen. So I don't need somebody to shape my message for me. I don't need somebody to add to it or take it away. Not that I'm so great, not that I'm full of myself, but I know my message and I know the way it comes to me. And so I don't care anymore.
Well, okay, so that goes. I got to get to book promotion, because this book promotion thing is so hard for authors to do. They want to. I don't know how Denola is and her authors, but most are, and LaShonda, you can get in here and correct me if I'm wrong, but most authors want to write it, get it on Amazon, and let it sell itself. Just say, it's on Amazon. What you mean? What you mean? And I'm like, you gotta tell somebody about your book now. And then you talked about the fear part, and I got that too. I'm good on stage, so I don't really have so much the fear part. I have a little trepidation because I'm a creative. So I'm like, Miss Peggy, I want everybody to like it. If you like it,
Mhm.
I'm the greatest writer in the world. That helps me. Especially after book 5. The first book, it was poetry. I didn't really. I don't really care if whether you like it or not, but I would do like it. But after about book 5, and then when I moved into fiction, oh yeah, I needed some approval. I needed somebody to talk about it. So let's talk about book promotion. This is difficult for authors, and because most of them wanted to go to Amazon, and we're good to go. So this is my promotion my two promotion tips. One, not only tell us what the title is and what you say your book is about, but give me one more why you feel like it is important. That message is important, and how you feel like it's your why, the transformational part. Why do we need it? And then my second tip, this is just a pet peeve of mine, probably the publisher part of mine. When people when people post their covers and there's no link to buy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so those
You
are
don't want to make
two.
people have to work to find your
Oh my
book.
god. Okay, so that's like, okay, so we all agree that's a major pet peeve of mine.
Yes,
Is
it
that
is.
I don't know your why. And it's a beautiful cover. I'm not saying I look at the cover and I'm confused, but I want to know why. What was your point? What was your reason for it? I get it, the title, I kind of connect with it, but I need to know a little bit about your why, not just buy my book with no link, but I need to know your why should we buy it? What will it do for the reader? And then that post net link, boy, that sends me sailing. That one. Anybody else have a promotional tip? I'm gonna start with LaShonda first. LaShonda, you
Of
got
course,
one?
of course. You know I hate that with no link, but a lot of people stop using the links because social media suppressed it. And
Yeah,
over the last 6 months, I've been doing surveys on it and trying to find, and they do suppress it. Anytime, if you look at your analytics, anything that you have a link on, they're not showing it to anybody. I've been promoting my book festival, and man, and it's nobody seeing me my promotions, nobody. And I got over 5,000 plus on my Facebook account. So I'm thinking 10 to 15 people, and they're not showing it to anybody. So I've been trying different things with the link. Try different things with the link. Put it in the comments. I've been putting it in fan stuff in the comments, and then putting the link in the second comment instead of the
Yeah.
first comment. Trying to get away from the bots because it's the bots that's doing it.
Do
I
they
found
want you to add? Do they want you to buy ads?
they want you to buy ad.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
found if I put a link on my graphic, nobody sees my post anymore because the bots are saying, "Oh, it says LaShondaHoffman.com," so they're not showing it. And so you
What
got
about a
to
QR code?
they probably know that the bots know that you think you're working with AI. They know all these little things, so you have to be really careful with your links because look at your analytics when you post a link. Is it work for me? My analytics are showing me that my links are being suppressed very hard. My tip was Miss Aisha said, and I have not heard anybody else say that, Aisha, but me, and I'm so happy that you said it. But you said do the fun things. And that's what I teach my clients. Find the fun things in marketing that you like to do. If you like doing interviews like this, then set up interviews. Do 2 or 3 interviews a month. If you can do one a week, do one a week. If you like podcasts, do podcasts. Do podcasts one a week. If you like going to events, go to the events. Do the stuff that you like to do. Yeah, Miss Julia, I would just want to be in a couple of events. She got events all year long,
All the time.
but she likes doing that. I am not a vending person. I don't want to sit at the table, and I'd rather go meet you. I know that's not me, so I don't do vending. I don't do it. I probably sell more books that way, but it's depressing when I go home and I took all my books home and nobody buy nothing. So I'm trying to learn how to be better at vending. Because I know that once people come talk to LaShonda, they're gonna buy some books. I just got to get them to come to me, And so, but I learned that if I want to sell books, the vending is going to be something I'm gonna have to learn how to like. That's the thing. That's the key to it. You got to find the stuff that you like, because when you don't like something, guess what you're gonna do? You're not gonna do it. You're gonna lay on the couch like I do and watch K-dramas.
No.
Me too.
So you need to find the
see,
stuff that you like
Okay,
to do.
you need to go from Indiana over to St. Louis. Y'all need to hang out. Y'all need to
Oh, yeah.
come together
Oh, yeah.
on book promotion.
Yeah, look, that is my way of procrastinating. If I watch K-dramas, like yesterday was a mental health day, I took the whole day, I just watched K-dramas. I ain't do nothing, and then when it's over with, I'll be like, "Dang, I should have did. Oh,
Oh, Lord,
don't do
help me, God,
LaShonda
with
Day.
these authors. Lord have mercy. National Author Day, huh? Here we go.
Right. So
Everybody
do
else
your
got a
fun
promotion
stuff.
too.
Yeah.
I love doing interviews. This is my thing. I love doing
Yeah.
podcasts and I love doing live interviews. I love it because one, she's gonna show this again. It's archive. And if you can do archive ones, you got a link. So you can show that link over again. If you share that link every day, you promoting yourself every day because somebody in your group has not seen the interview. And a lot of people do an interview and they do it, and then you never hear about that interview ever again. Look, I'm showing stuff from 2019, from 2009.
Well,
My
if
first
it's not
interview.
dated, if the information's still good, why not?
Why
You
not
know,
show
you can
it?
always get the link from because this is on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can take the YouTube link and put it on your site. It's public.
Look, I
Why
showed
not?
stuff
You
when my
own
hair
it.
was black. It was
Yeah.
black at one time.
I remember that. I went through your
It's
Facebook
not
page.
black.
I saw it,
It's been
boo.
black about 6 years. I'm like, that's some good content. They gonna get
Yeah,
this.
hey, if it still works, it still works. And don't be talking about Periscope because Periscope and MySpace ain't out there no more. Okay. Anybody,
Right.
I'm sorry, you should go ahead,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple. So let's revisit the links on Facebook. Yes, absolutely. That is a known thing that they are going to show. And I think Tracy put something in the comments. They're going to show significantly fewer of your posts that have links. The way around that, in addition to putting the links in the comment, there's a couple things. If you're putting an image up, you can put the link on the image, right? The second thing to do is make sure that you're not posting as much content with links, because what it does is the stuff that you don't have with links that people are just interested in and clicking on and liking on, they're more likely to go to your page if they see 2 or 3 things that you've posted that they like. And that's when they'll see your content that has the link on it, right? But you just need to make sure that they're seeing enough of your stuff to be interested in actually going to your page, right? That's number one. The other thing is when it comes to promoting your book, especially if you don't have a lot of books out there, are the similar tos, right? Who out there is writing something that's not exactly what you did, but similar to? What are they doing? How are they promoting? Who's their audience? What words are resonating with their audience? And sometimes, the author might be okay with you saying, hey, so this is something similar to, right? But even if they aren't, you can see what they're doing that's getting attention. You can do that in your promotion. This way you're not reinventing your strategic plan you're not reinventing the wheel. SEO is a huge thing. Your search engine optimization, what are your keywords that you're using? If your book is about marketing and marketing is not a word that's used in any of your summary, that needs to be fixed, right? And then my very, very, very last thing is brand ambassadors. I don't sell, I market. And those are 2 very different things. I can sell other people's stuff, right? But I am more likely to give you my thing if I think you need it than I am to sell it to you because you need it and I wrote it because somebody needs it, right? Mm-hmm. I market. But brand ambassadors, those people who love your stuff, and we've got a few, and they bring us clients and they sell our books. And I'm like, do you want a percentage? Like, no, girl, your stuff is amazing. I want everybody to know about it. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that get the word out about you and will have people come into your website and your Amazon and your whatever because they love what you do. Appreciate them, show your appreciation, and they'll continue to sell your book for you.
Yeah. Brand ambassador.
Yeah, I think that the things that Aisha has talked about are not just things that she's saying from her heart, which she is, but she's an IT specialist. I mean, she's got that expertise. So please listen to the things that she's saying about SEO, et cetera. One of the things that I find is that many authors don't want to pay to market their books. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to pay to get the return. but there are things that you can do that don't cost anything. And, when I think about social media, for example, yes, you may very well have clientele that, your books are targeted to on social media, but they don't want to see every post that you post be buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. You've got to have other content. Maybe you're providing quotes from your book or expertise from your book or pictures of people that have purchased your book. You don't have to say they bought my book, so you buy it. Just say, oh my gosh, this person really enjoyed my book. I mean, but just let people know that it's something that they can benefit from without all the time just saying, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. My rule of thumb is provide 3 types of information before you ask. And so whether it's 3 different posts or 3 different days, whatever it may be, then you can come back and say, oh my goodness, so-and-so bought my book. Have you gotten your copy yet? Then you can come back and ask, but don't ask every day or every post. That
Lord,
turns people off.
You're exactly right. Anybody else before I move on?
Yeah, I would like to say that as an author, that was one of the first things I really had to learn is that if you, and Julia taught this very well to me, is authors really think about writing their books, but they don't ever think about how they're going to promote and sell their books. With that said, I think I'm the best walk-in bookstore there is, because no matter where I am, it's a bookstore to me. And I'm laughing at myself because recently I was in McAllister's and I sold a book to the lady at the register, or I was in Kroger's and I'm standing in line and I'm talking about my book. So you are your best salesperson because you have the knowledge of your book and you have the wherewithal to speak and to tell people about your book. So I just look at it. I was at the doctor's office and I was telling the nurse at the doctor's office about my book. She's trying to take my blood pressure and take my temp, and I'm trying to sell my book. But just know that everywhere you go is you're a bookstore.
Yeah, she got the personality for it. Now, Miss Peggy Dixon is rare. Don't. She's not your regular author in the world. Listen. She can sell my books, and I'm not even there. Hear me? Yeah. So she's rare, and I love her dearly, but she's definitely rare. So I guess my last thing, because I'm not gonna keep y'all in your whole lunch hour. First off, tell me about your writing, because I know LaShonda's watching TV, so she's not writing, but tell me a little bit about your writing, and I'll go first so y'all have time to think about it. Really kind of your writing mode, or your writing, not just the calendar or schedule, but how do you write? Now, me, I'm an early person. I'm an early morning girl. I don't have to have moods. I don't have to have candles. I don't have to do all of that. If I'm writing romance fiction, I might turn on some romantic music, but I don't really have to set the mood. I just need a computer and a white piece, a new document and an outline, and I'm ready to go. And if it's really something pressing on me, I may be writing on it all day long at different snatches of the day. That's how I wrote when I was still teaching. I had to get to work. I was 45 minutes one way. So I was very careful. I would turn on the voice recorder on my phone and speak my book 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes back. And then when I got home, I would transcribe it. And then the 20 minutes for lunch, I ate in my room. I didn't eat in the faculty lounge fussing about kids and other teachers. I didn't do that. I didn't waste any time because I had a goal in my mind. So I'm usually up between 3 and 6 a.m. I'm writing or thinking about writing. I'm the notebook kind of person. So for the busy person who's bivocational or not, what is your writing, like your real writing tip that works for you? So that we have like seven tips before we shut down.
So Mine is so I write two different ways. The first is kind of what you mentioned, which is the kind of the in the moment spontaneous. I had a idea and I want to get it out. And whether I can write it in a notebook because I do like writing things out, or voice record it because my mouth will go faster than my hands can. I will do that. But for me to actually get long stretches of writing done, I body double, right? And what that means is that you have somebody else who is may or may not be working with you on the same thing, but they are somewhat present, and you guys have pieced this time out to get some work done. Right now, they could be cleaning their house, right? But you're on the phone or on Zoom or whatever, and you're helping them focus on their task, and therefore you're focusing on your task, right? I will do that with my partner, where we will say we're going to have a meeting, and it's going to be a writing meeting. And we'll start the first 10 minutes figuring out what it is we're doing, who's writing what, who's researching whatever. And the next 30 minutes may be silent while we're working on our piece, right? But if I have a question or he has a question, we are there. Or if I need to redirect, remember, oh no, I've got somebody else on the other end who's expecting me to be focused on this. So I come back and focus. And then the last couple of minutes is, okay, what do we get done? What are we doing next time? And we move from there. Right. But for me, body doubling helps a lot because it helps me to make sure that I am focused on that and not the other thing. I've got 5 screens in front of me right now. Right. And so,
I'm like, oh, she's young, isn't she?
yeah,
Young. That's what young folks do, baby. I'm like, old people call it accountability, baby, but y'all call it body doubling. I'm gonna have to write that one down. That's
yeah,
a new term.
body
Yeah,
doubling.
babies teach me all the time. Body doubling.
There are
Okay.
websites dedicated to it. They will connect you with
Really?
somebody that will help you body double. It's
Body
such a
Wow.
thing because it's like, you know when you're going when you say I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the gym. You'll say that for 3 or 4 years, and then one of your friends will be like, I need to go to the gym too. You're like, you know what? Let's go to the gym and we'll do it 5 o'clock in the morning, and you will go consistently because you've got somebody else doing, and y'all may be on different side ends of the
Body
gym,
doubling. Okay.
um,
Trying to
but
get that down.
you know they're there, and you don't want to let
Gotcha.
them down, and they don't want to let you down, so you're getting it done.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Old school accountability, but new school body doubling. All right.
Body
I love it.
doubling.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Anybody else? In the
My
Uh,
morning,
writing is a
evening?
little different. Well, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. Was somebody else going?
No. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay.
I'll go after you.
Okay. I guess I'm multiple as well, but I have to be alone. I can't do a body double. uh,
So you don't need nobody in the room. Okay. You
no,
need
I
a
don't need
guest.
anybody in
Body
the room.
single.
Yeah, she did
There
body
you
single
go.
thing. She just do her own thing. Okay.
I've done um, my ideas would be like I'd be on the bus on the way to work. I'd be driving on the way to work. I'd be on my break at work and I'm writing down ideas. It would come to me in the middle of the night. Lord would wake me up. Like at the end of Iris's Meadow, my adult fiction, I was through with it. And I turned it into Miss Denola. And then in the middle of the night, the Lord woke me up with The Root. And that was another paragraph, but it was an introduction before the introduction of the book, Iris's Meadow. And I woke up my husband. I didn't mean to, but I turned the sidelight on and I was writing another paragraph and I titled it The Root. And then my husband woke up and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, the Lord put it on me. I've got to add this. Mr. Nola's going to kill me, but I got to add this.
I was gonna say.
And, so I write everywhere. I'm just now starting to get used to writing on my computer. I'd have to. I grew up writing pen and paper, pencil, usually pencil, so I could erase. But now I'm starting to do a little bit with writing on the computer. Um, the computer would always be at the end. I send my final, after all my cross outs and erasing on pen and paper, then I would transfer it to the computer.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning to do it both. I still do pen and paper, but I'm learning to do it on my phone, save my notes, translate it to on my laptop, and then send it on to Mr. Noah. And uh, it's that's pretty much it as far as how I write and when I write. It's all times of the day. I work the midnight shift a lot of times on my job, so I'll take my laptop in and then I'm writing from at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm writing. So I guess in a nutshell, I just kind of write anytime, anywhere the Lord hits me, there it is, and I'm learning to
Yeah.
trust
My
Him.
carpal tunnel won't let me write by hand too much anymore. I can get an outline done. That's about it. Go ahead, LaShonda.
I have two. So what I've been using is I write on notebook paper, anything I can write on. I used to do that, but I started using this tool called Evernote, and I absolutely love Evernote. It's a digital notebook basically, and I put everything in there. And so I found out that you could do transcribing on it a couple of years ago.
Oh,
And
okay. They've
so
added that. Oh,
I
wow.
talk my stories now. That's how I do my books. And sometimes I don't even want to write. I want to go. I get in the car. And in the car, I get so inspired with it stuff. And I'm driving and I'm talking. And some people probably think I'm talking on the phone, but I'm telling my story. I just tell the story and let it write, and it writes it down. And I love that. And then my go-to always is 15 minutes. I used to get 15 minutes. Well, I still do at my job, 15 minutes for writing. And when I had little kids, that was the only time I had for writing was my 15 minutes, my breaks time and my lunch time. And I would take my 15 minutes and write as much as I could write. And then I'll come back the next day and do some more. And that's what I've done when I get stuck, when I feel like I don't have no time, I'm swamped with all other stuff that I'm doing. I go back to that 15 minutes and I do 15 minutes for my writing, or I do 15 minutes for my promotion. Because if you focus on that 15 minutes, you'll get a lot of stuff done. And then if I need to go over it, it's okay. But if all I got for today was 15 minutes, I got my writing in. And so,
Yeah, you did.
and I don't beat myself up anymore that I'm not writing. And I'm not a writer that writes every day. I found that out doing the Kindle Vella thing. You're supposed to write every day. And I have a hard time releasing stuff. So I couldn't do that every day.
Ooh, you and Aisha.
And so I realized I needed 2 days. Then that third day, it better be going to the editor. And I tell my editor, if it ain't there by the third day, you need to be calling me because I'm over here watching K-dramas.
Tracy, before we go, you got one last thought about the writing. How does the writing work for you?
Who did you ask for?
Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah. So kind of a little bit of all you guys. I've always been a longhand writer. I like to hear the pencil, but I don't have to do that anymore. I journal, 2 or 3 times a week I'll journal. And typically in that, I'll find meat that can go into one of the projects I'm working on. I also write projects just like you would watch a TV show. Like I might write on this project one day. On this project, I might get a chapter out. And on this project, I might get an outline. And then they're just all fun to visit. I'm visiting over here. And then I'm visiting over there. And then I love it because I also find inspiration in something else I'm writing that ties into something else I'm writing.
Yeah.
And I also find that by doing this, I never get writer's block. Never.
Yeah.
Because I can always just be like, I'm not feeling that today. I want to watch this show.
Come
and I
on.
go over to my other book.
That's
where
it.
it's just a blast over there today. But if you have more than one project going, you have places to go. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I can't remember, I sat down on a Saturday, I had a dream that me and Prince were talking in an old museum / old train station. Like, remember those old train stations?
Yeah.
I sat down and I wrote the whole book in one day.
Nah.
I killed it. I killed it. Enhanced DNA Publishing near you. So I don't write every day. I don't pressure myself.
Okay, so I asked, what did Prince say? What was Prince doing there?
I've never heard him talk so much.
Baby.
And so I'll just give you real quick. I had a dream that we were sitting in studio chairs, just like in Hollywood.
Right.
We were in the middle of the train station, and there was artwork and sculpture and massive busts, and there was a dinosaur and all this. And we were talking about how the difference between 5-dimensional and 3-dimensional, and how most of what happens in our lives, we cannot see it. It's not apparent to the natural eye. But if we focus our awareness on it, whether it's here or in the past or the future, we can discern what's happened, what the story is, and what's going to happen. So then we tested it out, and we started, like, we would put our awareness on one piece of art, and then the art would gain color and come to life. And then we could talk. That's my water alarm, sorry. And the piece of art would come to life and tell us this story. Then we could minister to it to bring it healing in the past. And then there was this one big sculpture had chains on it, and the chains started to fall off of the statue. I mean, you talk, it was deep. And we
it
were
was deep. It was deep.
laughing and finishing each other's sentences, and I captured that story. Okay.
You needed Prince as your muse, I guess.
Yes.
He had
My
a lot
Lord.
to say. Put his glasses on, little round circle glasses on.
Oh my Lord.
Awesome.
Miss Peggy, you got one thing to add, and I gotta shut it down. Ooh, it's 1 o'clock. We late.
Okay. Mine would be, and here it goes, and you're gonna say that's only Miss Peggy, but mine is at night usually, but it's also seasonal for me. I'm finding that I prefer to write in the fall and the winter. So I guess I'm not a seasonal writer that I write about the season so much, but my writings are usually, I write more in fall and winter. And I guess that's because things are settling down at that time in my life. It's starting to get colder and I'm not going out as much. And so, yeah, that's all.
Well, this has been fantastic. I hope those of you who are going to watch it on the replay, because I know some people are not able to catch it while we're live, but thank you, ladies, so much for being my guest. I am so sorry that Dr. O'Keefe Hassel was not able to be with us due to a power outage where he was, but the ladies, we held it down. And we're celebrating National Authors Day. Find these authors, support their work. Thank you, Ms. Denola. I know that you have an event. If you're in the Indianapolis area, there is a National Authors Day event hosted November 1st tonight. Is it 6 or 6:30? I never could remember.
6 o'clock p.m. at the Ujamaa Community Bookstore. And it is for authors, prospective authors, and anyone who wants to meet an author.
Well,
So
come
we
on
would
out.
love to have you. It's going to be a very, very nice event.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing. And of course, the She Reads event was where we were there, and Ms. Denola Burton was the coordinator, director, and all that good stuff, and the sponsor and all that good stuff of She Reads in Indianapolis. So it was a pleasure. I'm in Jeffersonville, Indiana, so I'm about 100 miles south of Indianapolis. So I don't get to Indianapolis as often as I could, or even I should. I'm thankful to Louisville being right here, but I'm appreciative for that event really helping me feel like an Indiana author and a part of the Indiana community, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, ladies, for being on. I got one comment. Hey, DeGeorge, how you doing? Thanks for sharing. Very insightful. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. DeGeorge, I don't know where in the world you are, but I think he's based out of Washington, D.C.
Nice.
He travels
Nice.
extensively for his job and otherwise. But thank you so much, sir,
Nice.
for joining us. And I hope that is inspiring you to move forward on the writing journey. So you all be blessed today, tomorrow, and always. Live your best life. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
you.
you. Nice to meet you all.
You too.